this is Eric Offholm, and I want to welcome you to my brand new weekly internet radio show called Continuous Sales Improvement. We'll be coming to you live with great guests and great content every Monday at noon Pacific, streaming all over the internet, including our Continuous Sales Improvement Facebook group. I'm thrilled that you've made the decision to join me today. I've got a fantastic guest. We have a very important topic, and I'll be getting to that in just a little bit. Continuous sales improvement is my brand concept. It's all about you working on your sales skills to get better and better and better. We have continuous sales improvement, the website, the book, and now the internet radio show. Today, I'm joined by Ivy Huang, who's one of my top students. And I asked her to come on the show today and be my first guest because she has the distinction, as I just said, of being one of my all-time top students. And as I've gotten to know her, she has different strategies that she does, mindsets to get the most out of my protege programs. Now, if you're watching this right now, you have likely purchased courses in your career, and sometimes we buy the course and it never makes it off the shelf. And I jokingly call that shelf help. And so that, of course, doesn't do us any good. So what if every time you purchased a program from now to the end of your career, you can get more value out of that program that you invested in? That's today's topic. And I have a good feeling this is going to become one of the most watched shows of, even though it's the first one of all the shows I'm ever going to do, because this is going to help you become a better student in whatever programs that you're in. Ivy, I want to welcome you to the show.
Hi. So good to see you, Eric.
Great to be with you today. So, Ivy, I've gotten to know you a little bit. You have a tremendous background with piano and a background with swimming. These are areas that you have learned how to peak perform in. Now, of course, you're applying these skills in business, but could you just tell us a little bit about your background with when you started playing piano and a little bit about your swimming and how that's shaped your mindset for peak performance?
Sure. I am a trained classical pianist since 4 years old, and that mindset of consistency and discipline and applying yourself and knowing that you have to spend a little bit every day practicing your skill to master it was instilled in me at a very young age. And when I took it to swimming, I wasn't a competitive swimmer in high school. However, I was a little bit more competitive well into my late 20s, early 30s. And I found that I could take the same mindset I had as a pianist into swimming, into triathlons, and pretty much into everything else that I do in life.
Fantastic. Now, one of the concepts of neuro-linguistic programming, some of you may have heard of this before, is modeling. When you model somebody, there's two things you model: belief, which deals with mindset, and strategy. And so, Ivy, I've had the privilege of working with over 9,000 people as clients all over the world. And you are one of my all-time best at taking and applying it. And so that So, Ivy, when I shared with you that out of the more than 9,000 students I've had the privilege of that you are one of the all-time best at taking my ideas and implementing them, Did that surprise you, or do you just kind of view yourself as always being a top student with whatever it is that you do?
And it really did surprise me. I don't go around comparing myself with other people as to how they show up, but I know for myself what sets me up to become the best version of myself is demanding more of myself in terms of my attitude, in terms of my effort, in terms of what inspires me. So when we bounce around ideas, the ones I take action on are the ones that really inspire me, that resonate with me at that time. And I know that if I stay in the conversation, eventually those other ideas that you're sharing, and they're fantastic ideas, I love them, one day I'll just be like, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. I think I'm going to do it now.
So let's talk about Facebook Lives, because I know that you've been working with one of the coaches that's an Eric Lofholm coach, Harry Newhan. And Harry suggested to you that you do a Facebook Live. I'm not sure if he said do one daily, but I know that's what you're doing. Talk about, you heard that idea and you took immediate action. What was your mindset and how were you able to execute on that idea? Because I think that's what really people need help with, is they hear an idea and they execute. So just talk specifically about that.
Sure. It was actually both of your ideas. You had done a challenge way back in the middle of July and you said, just do a Facebook Live. I did one, and the acknowledgement and encouragement I got from both you and Harry was try it again. And I think I did it one more day and you said try it again. Well, by the third or fourth day, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do this every single day. It did catch the attention of somebody who's been doing Facebook Live for years. And his tip to me was be consistent and show up and your audience will grow. My intention of showing up was to get the skill of public speaking. I don't go there for the views or the comments. I go there to develop myself. I go there to inspire other people to take action and motivate them, because the motivation I have is from within. And what drives me is that I know I can get better and better. I'm not there to become perfect, but I know I can get to mastery. And I know that if I can get better and better, that really inspires me to show up every day and do a live.
Fantastic. Now, I think there's a key insight into something you just shared, and that was your relationship with both Harry, your coach, and me as your coach as well. And I know, and you know, my coach is Dr. Donald Moyne, and I have had the intention for several decades to be one of his top students. So that's my mindset, to be one of his top students, and he and I have a fantastic rapport and relationship. Could you just speak just for a moment about rapport and relationship with whoever the instructor is, whether it's my protege program or some other program that they signed up for, about what is your view on the relationship with the instructor?
I take it very seriously, and I can think back to the times my mother tried to pair me up with different piano teachers to find out which piano teacher and I could work the best together. And what she found was it was the ones who allowed me to be my most creative self within a structure. And it ended up being, one of my best ones was a man who had a background in engineering, but he had fantastic hearing. And so I developed that critical ear in music. And if I had taken that to a professional level, I probably would have been a judge, because I would be sitting there picking things apart. I would be sitting there saying, what is your overall performance? The whole performance isn't about playing perfectly, is how can you play it in such a way that no one could ever tell you had any flaws, because there's no performance that goes just like that. But it's the way you show up and it's how you can execute. So when you get up on stage and do a speaking engagement, for example, you may have done the same speech over and over, but every time you do it, it's a little bit different based on how much you prepared, based on what stories you're sharing and the whole situation. But the beauty of it is, deep down when you did it, that was fantastic. That was outstanding. That connected with everybody in the audience, and that's the intention, right? So that's how I like to show up.
Now, when you say the words show up, what does that mean to you?
So to show up, it means to put my best foot forward. It means to bring my best attitude, to be in the best mindset, in the best emotional, mental state. It's to be present. So I'm doing a radio show with you right now. I'm not doing something else over here, checking phone over here, looking over there.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that, Ivy, is that, you and I are highly motivated right now to show up, right? Because it's lights,
Right.
camera, action. We're on our live internet radio show. Today is the first episode. So there's a lot of leverage on us to powerfully show up. But I want to bring up another example of this, of something that I know about you, because in addition to the weekly internet radio show that we're doing right now, I also have a daily morning call.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a little 15-minute motivational call inside of the Facebook group, Monday through Friday. And out of that group, Ivy, there's over 3,300 members of the group. And Facebook keeps track of all the engagement. And you have higher engagement numbers than anyone else in the group. And it's not even close. And I know that that is influenced by your mindset about how you show up for the daily call. So we have anywhere from 400 to 1,000 people a day that show up for that call, live or the replay. So you're one of 400 to 1,000, yet your engagement's off the charts. What's your mindset for that call?
I stay very present. And that is the time I get to, because you're my coach, love hanging out with you. My mindset is, I get to hang out with my coach. Let's make the most of it. Let's make the best time of it. I have a blast showing up on your morning call. And because of that, it is so much fun to, it's an awesome banter. It's like, because I'm not able to verbally talk back, I do it in the form of typing and chatting in the comments while you're talking. So if someone's reading my comments, they have to be following along with, at the time, what you're speaking to make sense of what I'm saying, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. Could anybody that shows up for the daily call in that Facebook group, could anybody be doing a similar thing that you're doing as far as the amount of commenting? You're sharing the best ideas you're learning, or you're chatting with the people and you're engaging, which I encourage. Could anybody do it just like the way you're doing it?
I would say they would do it in their own way. And how they show up, their best selves, may look different than mine. Now, one of the skill sets I have is the ability to pick things up really quickly, and things fly by fast. I mean, that maybe be from consulting and having a million gazillion things being thrown at me. And the way you handle that is that you don't let it stress you out. You just go, what's the most important thing to focus on, and let's prioritize. And so because I've found a place to be able to prioritize my morning call, hanging out with you for 15 minutes, I really look forward to it, first of all. And second of all, I know that I can engage and stay very focused for that 15 minutes that I'm hanging out with you.
Absolutely. And for all of you watching this right now, if you just joined us, this is the Continuous Sales Improvement Weekly Internet Radio Show. It comes up every Monday at noon Pacific. We'll be coming to you live. And today's guest, Ivy, is one of my all-time top students at the implementation of ideas. How do you get the most out of a program that you signed up for? So I want you to really listen to her insights. Out of working with thousands of people, she's one of the best that I've ever had as far as the implementation of ideas. Now, Ivy, one of the things we recently talked about, you have a new business model that you're working on. And I encouraged you to get into revenue.
Yeah.
Which you did. And sometimes in business, we're not in revenue yet. And so I was like, hey, I want you to get into revenue. So when I asked you to get into revenue, just talk about what was your mindset and how did you actually get into revenue?
It's about taking action. And it's about when you access your creative mind and the questions are, well, who do I need to talk to? And the questions that you show up with, like that you teach. How are you running enough sales presentations? Are you prospecting? Are you setting appointments? And I did all of that one way or another to have these opportunities to have conversations with people that eventually became my coaching clients. And the other one was referrals. Now, those are your best clients, I believe, just because you have somebody that knows you that's referring somebody else to you. And so the way they show up is different. And I think that makes a difference also in the way I show up because of Sherry Tree and a bank. I can, I got introduced to you because of the bank vault and because of seeing what you were teaching. And I knew I have to get in touch with this guy. I know he's going to do something awesome if I work with him. I knew it.
Fantastic. Now, I want you to speak to the proteges for just a minute. If you're watching this, if you're not a protege, you're like, what is a protege? Well, since 2003, I have been mentoring people in sales, persuasion and influence, people all over the world. And Ivy's one of my clients. If you end up becoming a client, then the program is called the Protege Program. And Ivy, I'd like you to speak to the proteges. Now, if you're not a protege, this is applicable for you for any program that you ever do to help you to become better. But Ivy, what advice? You are a protege, you're already a success story, your success story is continuing to get better and better and better. What advice would you give to other protege members, people that are learning from me through the weekly Zooms? What advice would you share with them on how to get the most out of the program?
Stay in the conversation is your number one tip. And if it really means and matters to you, make it a priority. So, for example, the modules that Eric has on his silver, gold, and platinum protege, make the time to go through them. I still have yet to go through them, but what I found more useful was to attend the live meetings, the live sessions that you have hosted every single week. And that alone, you get so much out of the group participating and engagement. And that's one of the best things I've gleaned from staying in the conversation with you is your ability to bring in and develop an amazing and supportive community that people do want to stay in a conversation and people want to connect with one another and they want to help each other. And I think that's awesome what you created.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about you and what's going on in your world. Is there anything that you would like to share with our global audience, whether it's your podcast or anything that you have going on in your business that you'd like to get the word out about?
Sure. It is just to establish myself as a performance coach. I specialize in mindset, life, and health. I'm also inspired by the podcast. I do it with another friend of mine. We're both coaches, and we bring on people from all kinds of backgrounds, sharing about your best life and sharing advice about living your best life. So it is, in a way, people get coaching just by listening to that podcast as well, life coaching. And lastly, it's to be able to share this I want to digitize myself like you, Eric. You inspired me to do that, just like you inspired me to start an email campaign and inspired me to put myself out there and share a positive and inspiring message to everybody else that you can realize your potential, that there's greatness inside of you, and that don't let anything hold you back, because I really believe that you don't want to live your life without regrets.
I think that one of the most important things that you shared today was the whole concept of how are you showing up. And that's something you guys can all take with you today. How are you showing up in the programs that you purchase? How are you showing up for your clients? How are you showing up for your family? Now, I have a couple more ideas that I want to share with you, with all of you watching and listening from all over the world. Ivy, I want to thank you for being my first guest. I just wanted you to be my first guest. I thought your message was a great one. I just talk about how to get the most out of these programs that we sign up for so you can really get the value and take your life to a whole nother level. So Ivy, thank you so much for being a great first guest today.
Thank you. I do have one last thing to share.
Sure.
When we do set the intention that we're going to be one of your success stories, that we're going to be one of your best students, you will show up differently. And so for all of you out there.
Absolutely. And that's along the lines of what I did with Dr. Moyne, my mentor. I said, I'm going to be his top student. And it wasn't me competing with all of his other great students that he's ever had. It was just my own mindset. Yeah. And if you happen to be a client of mine, I want to encourage you to set an intention that you're going to become an Eric Lofholm success story. And if you're watching this right now, again, we're coming to you live every Monday. We're going to be streaming in multiple places online today. We started off by streaming in our Continuous Sales Improvement Facebook group. This is the Continuous Sales Improvement weekly internet radio show. It's every Monday at noon, and I'm hopeful that you'll come back and continue to watch the show, and that you'll hit the share button and you'll share it with others and help me get the word out so we can share this powerful information with others. My new brand concept is Continuous Sales Improvement. The hub of that is the website, continuousssalesimprovement.com. You guys can go check out that website. And in the very near future, on that website, I'll be giving away chapter 1 of my brand new book, soon to be released, called, you guessed it, Continuous Sales Improvement. This is my number one idea. And if you are already clients of mine, or if you become a client of mine, or you tune into my message, you're going to hear this over and over and over and over and over again. And what continuous sales improvement means is you work on your sales skills for 15 minutes to an hour a week, every week for the rest of your life. You never stop, every week for the rest of your week. And when I say sales skills, I'm also including business skills. So sales and business, that's 1. Personal development is number 2. Product knowledge is number 3. And technology is number 4. And we become lifelong learners. And that is the continuous sales improvement movement. And in the very near future, there'll be a button on the website, continuousssalesimprovement.com, and you can go there and sign up. It's all free. And to say, hey, I'm raising my hand, I'm joining the movement, and I'm going to work on my skills for 15 minutes to an hour a week, every week for the rest of my life. You'll keep getting better and better and better and better and better. I want you to know that I believe in you. I want you to know that you have greatness inside of you, and I'm in your corner. That's going to conclude episode number 1. I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to tune in and hear from my great guest, Ivy, and myself. I look forward to connecting with you. Next week, we'll have another great guest and some more fantastic ideas to share with you. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
That was a lot of fun.